Hello, once again. We're back here at the Homewrecker Podcast. I am the Golden Greek, Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing trophy wife, Monique. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fabulous, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic as always.
Excellent.
So this week, we're going to talk about...
We're talking about Antarctica!
I was going to say it's getting kind of cold in here. I wonder if that's why.
Could be the air conditioner.
Oh, is that what it was, the AC? For some reason, my microphone just got really loud. So I apologize if I popped anyone's eardrums there. That was kind of strange.
The universe wants you to be heard today.
Yeah, apparently so. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the ice cold, so we've been told, continent of Antarctica.
Yeah.
And I say so we've been told because there's so many things we've been told about Antarctica. Easy for me to say. There's so many things we've been told about the continent of Antarctica.
Yeah.
But none of us are allowed to go down there. None of us have been there. Or very few of us. When I say us, I mean people.
Regular people.
Regular,
ordinary
normies, normal folk. Yeah, it's kind of a mystery, if you will. I mean, they've had like documentaries and they have a lot of TV cameras there, of course, but of course you're only seeing a small piece of what Antarctica, easy for me to say, is. I keep getting that word stuck in my head.
Well, it's funny because it's spelled Antarctica, Antarctica. Right. And for the longest time, I would hear a lot of people, maybe it's a New England thing, but they just say Antarctica, like Antarctica.
Yeah.
And so they don't pronounce that T. And I was like, well, I think it's supposed to be pronounced, so I kind of emphasize it. So people might hear the way I say it and think it's a little dramatic or whatever. It's just because I'm so used to hearing people go, Antarctica, in the Boston. Yeah, I want to go down to Antarctica, but can't get down there.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, for you.
Yeah.
What are your earliest memories of learning about Antarctica?
Penguins!
Wow, okay. So those are your earliest memories, just learning that penguins live in Antarctica?
And it's cold.
Okay. So I presume you learned about it in school?
In public schools, yes.
Looking at a globe and everything?
Yes, a globe.
Seeing it at the bottom of the globe, if that's what we're on.
Yes. The bottom of the globe.
Notice how, like, now literally everything I ever do, I always quantify it with a if that's what we're...
The alleged globe.
Because I just don't believe... I can't believe anything anymore. My mind is, like, completely... nothing is real anymore.
Well, okay. Think about where it's allegedly located.
Yes.
On a globe.
Yeah.
Why don't we fly over it? Like, if you're in South America and you want to go to Australia, why wouldn't you just fly over Antarctica? Wouldn't that be way faster?
You would think.
Right?
There's a lot of questions about the continent. And, again, there's so much secrecy surrounding it. We'll talk about a lot of this stuff today.
Mm-hmm. I've read some stuff about that reason.
Oh,
but
okay.
Before we get into that,
Sure.
How about you?
Me.
When did you first learn of the continent, Antarctica?
When I first got a globe, I think I was in 2nd grade, and my uncle got me a globe for my birthday, and it was like the coolest thing ever because I'm like, oh, I could see where all the countries are, and I learned where locations of countries were. I'm destroying my microphone here. I apologize. You get to learn capitals of countries and things. I was really fascinated by it, and I studied it. Like, I thought it was the coolest thing. So yeah, that'd be probably the first time. It was just Antarctica. It was just this white mass underneath what we were told, or what we believed to be the Earth and what we're on. But that was it. It was never, you knew there were 7 continents on the Earth, but that was the one that nobody lived on, nobody went to, because it was just too cold, is what we were always told. But yeah, I think it was the second grade is my earliest memories of like really looking at it and just being like, wow, that's cool.
Mm.
It's a big ice, mass of ice.
That's not
it.
true.
What do you mean? That's what I'm telling you my memories.
But I'm telling you now, that's not true. It's not all ice.
It's not?
No, there's rocks and mountains. And actually like land there and lakes. Freshwater lakes there. Yeah. Allegedly. Because this is just stuff that we're being told.
We're just being told. Yeah, I mean, also, back in 2017, they discovered, allegedly, 90 new volcanoes that were previously unknown. That's information that's out there now, too. But yeah, I'm not there. I don't know. No idea if this is true or not. This is what's being reported.
You should take a Homewrecker field trip.
To Antarctica?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get our listeners will all get together and we'll get a plane.
Oh, sure. We'll get shot down.
We'll request permission from the UN.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You have to request permission now from the United Nations in order to go down to Antarctica. Huh? Like, what is that? Are we free people? Are we free to roam? Apparently not.
We're not.
Freedom is an illusion.
It is.
It is an illusion. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you have to actually, in order to go to Antarctica, you have to get permission from the United Nations.
Now, I brought up, why don't commercial flights go over Antarctica?
Go ahead and address that one.
So I did some looking online, so you can only take it at face value for anything you read online. But a couple different articles I read where people asked, why can't we fly over Antarctica commercially? I guess there was some kind of FAA regulation that you have to be within such a distance if you needed an emergency landing of some sort. Otherwise, you need special training and special supplies, and it costs too much for the training and the supplies to fly over Antarctica than the cost of fuel for going around the long way. And I don't know, I just don't believe that. And why would they make such a regulation? I feel like if that is a regulation, I feel like maybe that's just put there to deter people from flying over.
Yeah, it sounds like a BS excuse because when you fly across the Atlantic Ocean, when you're right smack dab in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, where's the closest place you can land?
Yeah, granted, I didn't go out and measure distance from the land, the distance of the ocean being flown over versus the distance of Antarctica. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. But they do allow planes to fly over, private planes, but they have to be limited as to where they can fly over.
Yeah, there's
only certain sections.
Right. So even we were, for example, we were looking on Amazon the other day. We were on Amazon Prime and we're looking for just stuff to watch, and we put in Antarctica. And there's a documentary. I think it was a year on the ice in Antarctica or something like that. And I watched the trailer for it. I'm just like, this just looks like it's just a puff piece, really. Did they spend a year there? Yeah, sure, probably. But it's not like they went and explored anywhere. They were in a confined area. They filmed animals and whatever else. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing, so this is just what I took from the trailer. And I was like, I'm not going to waste my time watching this because I'm not going to learn anything. They're not going to tell you anything that's really going on there. This is just a puff piece.
Well...
So, yeah, to your point.
No one's allowed to fly over the South Pole.
Yeah, that's true. That's. I mean, I think even military craft.
Even U.S. military allegedly is not allowed to fly over the South Pole.
Supposedly, yeah. That's yeah.
And we're going to get into some reasons too.
Sure. So, getting back, we watched a couple of different documentaries. Yeah. Do you remember what they were called?
No.
All right. There you go. So
I started falling asleep through the first one. I was so tired.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Homewrecker.
No, but there's so much with stuff that we've read over the years, with different articles we've read, other documentaries that touch on that. There's so many different things.
The one that we watched that we both thought was, if nothing else, thought-provoking was called E.T.'s Among Us.
Yes.
We watched part 2. I guess this is a series of documentaries. This one focused specifically on Antarctica and some of the things that are rumored to be going on there, or theorized to be going on. Again, with any of these type of things, it's all secondhand stories that you hear from alleged whistleblowers and things like that. So you never really, it's not like you have official government documents that you're looking at or anything like that. It's never coming from an official capacity, and obviously anything that comes from an official capacity, you get a question anyway.
Would you really trust it?
Is that really true anyway? So this is the information that comes out of there, but there's a lot of interesting stuff that they talk about that really makes you think and wonder. If it's not what we're being told, if it's not what whistleblowers are saying it is, then really what is it? There's got to be some kind of clandestine operation going on because there's so much secrecy surrounding it. So what is it?
Oh, we're going to touch on that.
All right, so let's start touching.
Okay, there's a couple of things I still want to talk about, just
Okay.
Antarctica in general. Lake Vostok. We talked about the land, and I mentioned there's allegedly freshwater lakes there. Lake Vostok is located near the Russian base of Vostok, which is where it got its name. And this lake is allegedly a freshwater lake. It's the largest lake on the continent of Antarctica. I think I read that it's like maybe one of the 6 largest lakes in like all of the world.
Yes.
It's very big, it's deep, it's fresh water. It's under the sheets of ice, and that is where the water is. And one of the theories is that the heat from the core of the Earth heats up the water underneath, allowing it, I think the average temperature was like 56 degrees. They did some tests. They found different bacteria in the water, different life forms, if you will, like bacteria, things of that nature. But there was another theory. There's a few different theories, because I know in the ocean you have the hot springs, and that can heat up water, so that's kind of what a lot of people say that's why it gets not all ice. But then there was some theories about UFOs being in the lake, and that is why the water won't freeze.
Yes, that is a theory.
What do you think about that theory?
What, that UFOs go in and out of the water?
Or that there's a UFO stuck in there?
Oh, that there's I mean, okay, who knows? It's possible. I have no idea. I know that there's always been reports of discs and craft going in and out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I think they call them unidentified submerged objects, USOs instead of UFOs. They're just big UFOs that go in and out of the water. There's sightings like that have been reported for a long time. It's hard to put a date on them, but they've been around for as long as UFO sightings have been around. Is that why that lake is not frozen? Because there's a craft in there, maybe emitting some kind of radiation or energy that's keeping the water from freezing? Possibly. I'm not in Antarctica. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. And these are just rumors anyway. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's...
I just thought it was an interesting theory. Like, oh, there's UFO in there. Like, okay.
Oh, sure, why not?
Anything's possible, but
Maybe.
it was just kind of like, it seems more likely, just as there's like the hot springs. Because if you go down like really deep in the ocean, there's life forms there that it gets like hot down there because of the hot springs under the ocean. I was like, that makes more sense than UFO, but that was just...
I'm inclined to agree with you there that would make a little bit more sense than just some alien craft, but I don't know. I'm not there. I couldn't tell you.
That's why we need to go there.
Yeah.
And also be loving all the emperor penguins.
Yeah, you
so
just want to hang out with penguins.
I do. They're so cute.
Honestly, that's probably all I'd want to do too. It's not like I want to go explore.
Oh, look, there's UFOs over there. But there's an emperor penguin, and it's almost as big as me.
Right there.
I want to go make it my friend.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I'm gonna go with you that's probably just hot springs. It's not from a UFO, but no.
Do you, in terms of the geography of it, was there anything else that you wanted to add before we moved
No, just that. I mean, it's not just what I initially believed when I first learned of Antarctica in second grade at 8, 9 years old, however old I was. It's not just snow and ice. There's a lot of it's land. You know, essentially, there's mountain ranges and there's lakes. So you could theoretically, I would presume, set up communities there. And
You could live on
you
there.
could live there.
Maybe not a lot of farmable land, but you'd probably be eating a lot of seafood.
Maybe not a lot of farmable land, but maybe there is. I don't know, because again, we're not there. We don't know. We can't see it. If you go try to look on Google Maps.
That's something else that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, get into
because
that
this
one.
bothers me so much when I try to go on like Google Maps or any other kind of online mapping system. Because I've gone and like do like searches on like DuckDuckGo to see if there's any other kinds of online maps that will show it. If everyone take out your phones or your tablets or your computers and go to Google Maps, go onto Google Maps and scroll down to Antarctica. It only shows you so much. All these maps, it doesn't go past a certain point. Why? Why is that? I don't know.
It's a wonderful question.
It's bullshit.
What's being hidden?
Google, come on, get on your game. Let's go. I want that satellite image of Antarctica. I want to see what's there.
Right.
But it's everywhere. It's all maps.
Yeah, of course. They don't want you seeing what's there.
They
They
don't.
don't want you knowing what's going on.
You can zoom into somebody's backyard. You can get a street view of somebody's home, even if it's like remote. Google can get that shit, but they can't get Antarctica.
But can't. They just don't.
Exactly. Oh, it pisses me off so much.
You're fired up about this.
Oh, it bothers me so much.
Wow. All right. So, moving on from that.
Deep cleansing breath.
Yeah, go ahead. Take some deep breaths. There you go.
Sip
All
my
right.
tea.
There you go.
All right, moving on.
Okay, so moving on. Now, there's a lot of crazy theories about Antarctica and what's going on there. Why is there so much secrecy? Let's get into some of those.
Do you want to start with Hitler?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's probably the one that I don't know if a lot of people have heard it, but it's probably one of the more
Well,
I
I
guess
feel like
well-known
there's
theories.
multiple too, like different
Yeah.
things about Hitler, what he was doing
Yeah.
in Antarctica.
Well, so depending on who you believe, and again, this is all just people talking. Nobody, this has never been confirmed or anything. Hitler was sending troops down to Antarctica to build a base, a fortress, whatever you want to call it. He was sending troops down there to build so that they could do research and that they could fortify their forces and everything and essentially take over the continent. And I believe this started as early as the 30s.
I believe it's the 1930s.
It was in the early 30s. I can't remember the exact year. I apologize. But yeah, that was the rumor, and also they were using slave labor, getting people from South America, like Chile, around in that area, the southern part of South America. They were taking people and making them slaves to build their bases, to do whatever needed to be done, I guess. And that was one of the prevailing rumors and theories. It's pretty. I think that's a pretty plausible one because we did send forces down there in the late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, in the 40s.
It was the 40s, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and they were fought off by Nazis. So
Yeah.
there were Nazis down there.
Yeah. But if you look at now, there's a whole bunch of different military bases, and we're going to talk about that too.
Right, but let's try to one thing at a time.
Yeah, I know. So with Hitler,
So that was the rumor, and I'd say it's pretty plausible. I'd say I kind of believe that one. He was down, not him personally, but his forces were down there. The Nazis were down there. They were doing who knows what.
now I want to branch off from that because there's a few different theories.
Okay.
There's the theory that he was down there, he was making these military bases deep inside the ice, but also he was having help. This is where it gets a little murky about the theories, but he had help from extraterrestrials, and he was able to make or use extraterrestrial spacecrafts to assist him when fighting off the U.S. down there. That's
the Nazi Bell. It's a craft that they had that, if you looked at it a certain way, it was a bell-shaped craft, but it could look like a saucer.
Mhm.
That's something that they had. That's a confirmed thing. They did have that technology, so they had stuff that looked like that.
Mhm.
But yes, that was reportedly what happened when the U.S. sent troops down there to get rid of the Nazis. They were fought off by craft that they'd never seen before. And it was illustrated in this documentary that we watched. Obviously they're not going to recreate it, but they had some illustrations to kind of try to help you visualize what was going on there. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. The U.S. troops basically turned around and retreated because they didn't know how to fight these things.
And one person from the military who went down there was Admiral Byrd.
Yeah, the forces were led by Admiral Byrd.
Yes, he was the one who allegedly found inner Earth by going up through the North Pole. Now, he went down there before that North Pole expedition and allegedly told a newspaper in Chile that the future will be having to fight off flying saucers or something along those lines, like flying spacecraft, unlike anything of our own.
Yeah, the Admiral Byrd thing, we could probably do a whole episode just on that story and all the different stories surrounding him. But yeah, that one, it's kind of it's tough because there's so many different stories about what he encountered when he was down there. But the one that seems to be the most plausible is that he led a faction down there of U.S. forces, and they were fought off by Nazis who were using craft that they'd never encountered before. They didn't know how to fight them, so they would just turn around and leave it. But after the war and everything, we were back down there. We went back down there. The Nazis came into the United States. A lot of their scientists through Operation Paperclip. It's all declassified. It's all, you can look it up. We ended up going into business with the Nazis. So that's a true thing that happened.
It is. Now there's another theory.
Okay.
Hitler was down there because he had discovered inner Earth.
Hitler personally was down there, or the Nazis were down there?
The Nazis were down there, but Hitler, when he was fleeing from U.S. troops, he and his men, the Nazis, went to Antarctica, and they're hiding, or were hiding in inner Earth. That was their escape route.
That is another theory. There's also a lot of rumors and conjecture that we have the bases beneath the ice in Antarctica, right? And then that there's also tunnels that go underwater, or that are underwater tunnels. Essentially, they're in the earth under the water that go up into South America, and we touched on them briefly when we talked about the giants and all the tunnels that are there. And that this tunnel system also goes up through Africa and into Europe. So there is a theory that Hitler didn't die the way that it was reported, but that he escaped to Argentina, but it wasn't by sea, it was through these underground tunnels. I think it's pretty safe to assume that the Hitler that everybody has been taught throughout history that died in Germany at the end of the war was probably a body double. Probably wasn't the real Hitler. He probably did make it out because there's way too much evidence to support that. But who knows?
So he made it out. Do you think he's still alive by now? Do you think there's something keeping him alive?
Anything's possible. I'm not going to say. I'd say it's doubtful, but I'm not going to say it's impossible.
We can only hope he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, he would be what? I don't know when he was born. I'm not a Hitler historian, so I couldn't tell you when he was born, but he would have to be over 100, I would think.
Yeah.
At this point.
It just makes you wonder if he really did escape, and if there was an inner Earth that he escaped to. Is there something that keeps people maybe from aging as rapidly? It's like that kind of bastard, it's like figures he would find that.
Well, again, I don't know. I don't know. And again, we've universally all been taught that he was an evil guy. But was he? We don't know. I don't, and I'm not trying to be a Hitler apologist, but I'm saying that you have to question everything, right? And
I question everything.
We won the war. The Allied forces won the war, so we get to write the history.
This is true.
So I'm not an expert in any of that stuff, but yeah, the belief and what we've all accepted as truth is that he was an evil guy. Was he? I don't know.
Well, I think if he wanted people to be killed because they didn't look a certain way, they weren't born of a certain blood, then yeah, you're kind of an asshole. You're not kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
you're an
if
asshole.
that was the case. But again,
and that's putting it nicely.
Again, like I said, I question everything now because I wasn't there. I didn't live through it. I only know what I was taught by my teachers, and that's it. That's all I'm saying. Again, the guy was probably the biggest piece of garbage ever. I'm just saying that I don't know because I wasn't there. I don't know the motivation.
It's just you can't always trust everything that you're told.
I'm not an expert on the topic,
story.
and I'm not trying to be an apologist or anything.
So, were there any other theories about Hitler in Antarctica that you're aware of?
Yeah, just that he was into the occult. He was always looking for those supernatural type artifacts and stuff like that because he wanted to take over the world. Is what the story is. So I don't know if any of that's true, but that's another theory that he was very into the occult and trying to find different artifacts that could maybe help him in his quest to rule the world. Mm-hmm. The Red Skull from Captain America comic books and movies essentially is the Hitler character. Mm-hmm. So all the stuff that the Red Skull was doing is essentially, supposedly, what Hitler was doing too. Again, if you believe in any of this.
And again, even if you're trying to use these metaphysical objects to rule the world, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, if that was the case.
That's the case.
Right. But yeah, again, I don't know of anything else. I think I'm sure there's probably a million different theories, but those are the ones that I think are the most well-known or the most that have been talked about.
And with that, I want to, if you're okay with me moving forward, I want to touch on inner Earth theories in Antarctica versus aliens. And could there be one and the same, or could it possibly be, maybe with the poles, there's maybe not so much a tunnel into inner Earth, but maybe some kind of portal to different dimensions.
All right, let's talk about it.
All right, go. What do you think?
Do I think that there's inner Earth?
Inner Earth? Do you think it's aliens? Do you think it's something else?
I think that I definitely think that the Earth, what we're told we're on, is not accurate.
I agree.
I firmly believe we're not on a globe. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying we're on a flat Earth. I'm just saying that what we've been told is not accurate in any way. And you can prove that just if you actually look into it and try to look past your programming that you've had ever since you were a baby, where you're told and constantly bombarded with images of a globe. So I don't think we're on a globe. I do think that there is another layer to this place, and that it does go subterranean, just because there's so much evidence of tunnels. Where do these tunnels go? We've reportedly only drilled 8 miles down into the Earth. That's the furthest we've ever been able to drill down into the Earth. So we don't know what's beyond that 8 miles. Is there a whole other civilization? Maybe. It very well could be. But I definitely think that people know, not people like us, but people, in government, military, clandestine groups, they know what's down there, or they have a good understanding or idea of what's down there. They're just never going to tell us. And that's why people that believe in flat Earth or anything like that get ridiculed, because they're calling into question the official story, which is that we're just on a globe, and we're floating through space, and we're insignificant in the overall scheme of things because space is infinite and there's so much out there that we're nothing. We're just on a speck of dust. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the case. I think that that's absolutely not the case. But I don't know what we're on. I don't have a theory of what we are on.
But in terms of Antarctica and the South Pole,
mm-hmm.
Do you think it could be a tunnel into inner Earth?
Sure.
Do you think it could be aliens, or maybe both? Do you think it could be something else?
I think aliens, like what a lot of the theories surrounding Antarctica and inner Earth, I think that they're beings that have always been here. If there's anything there, I don't think it's coming from outer space. I think it could be a civilization that lives inside the Earth. That could very well be. Again, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It could very well be just a completely different civilization. They might look just like us. I don't know. I have no idea.
They might look a little different because they're living inside the Earth.
Well, there's theories that inside the Earth there's a whole other
Earth.
system,
Yeah.
a whole other Earth with a sun, a moon, and everything like that. So, again, I've never been there. I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't know how to get in there.
And what about anything else on aliens, like craft going in and out? Do you think maybe it's our own craft or another country's craft, or could it be extraterrestrial?
See, the older I get, the more I think of things, the more I try to unlearn history and stuff that I've been programmed with, the more I think that this technology has always been here, and we've just been kind of slowly been given access to it. That's what I think. So, are there craft that can go in and out of it? Yeah, I think that probably exists.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's way too many sightings of things that are not explainable. And I think that a lot of it is probably in possession of our government. When I say our, I don't just mean the United States, I mean the world governments. So, I don't know. I don't think it's aliens in the popular way that we've been led to believe. I think it's probably a civilization that exists, that's always existed, that's always been there. There's different artifacts and things like that that have reportedly been found on Antarctica to show that there was an ancient civilization. Look down. Another theory is that Atlantis was Antarctica. That's another theory. So again, I don't know. It's very.
We don't know because we're not allowed to go there.
We're not allowed to go and research, and we're not told anything that goes on down there. So
go pound on the UN's door. Let us in to Antarctica.
Now I think that there's got to be something down there that's important, because there have been a lot of important. I say important in quotes because I don't think these people are anything special personally, but you had former Secretary of State John Kerry under Obama. He went down there. Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut, he went down there. A lot of different dignitaries
what
from
was
around
their
the world
reason
have been
for
down there.
going? A lot of these people? For environmental reasons.
That's the official story, but why are you sending Buzz Aldrin down to Antarctica for something that's an environmental issue?
Because the dude flew to the moon and he wanted to see some emperor penguins, damn it.
Supposedly flew to the moon.
Allegedly.
Right.
Very.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin. Probably in on the whole scam. But yeah, no, why were all these people sent down there? What were they going to see or advise on or be informed about?
It's all about saving penguins.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Well, you asked me, what about you? What's your theory on the inner Earth entrance being Antarctica?
So, I had some thoughts. I kind of agree with you, but I also wonder, is it some kind of portal? I had said to you the other day, is it maybe inside those poles there is an opening, but it's some kind of wormhole? And you're like, well, wormholes are fake, and it's just a thing that was made up. But what I mean is a portal. Somewhere that you go in that allows you to teleport or transport to another dimension, another type of universe, just somewhere else. And that's what I wonder, kind of how we've talked about Bigfoot and things like that. How are they getting in and out? Or maybe it's some kind of dimension they're shifting in and out of, or vibration. But maybe there's something in there that once you go in, it kind of brings you somewhere else, and that's where this stuff's coming from. But then I wondered, maybe there's some form of energy there that like the poles give off, and that's why they go down there, because they're trying to harness this energy.
That's actually a good theory.
You have all these countries, so
I'm not going to call that theory ridiculous.
you have, I mean,
I called it ridiculous?
No. You have countries. You have all these countries. So I have like
There's over 50 countries.
Oh yeah, I have like a little map on my phone. But just to go over, I mean, we have obviously the U.S., we have Germany, we have Russia, we have Japan, we have South Africa, we have India, Australia, New Zealand. There's all these different countries, but nobody's here. It's all on the edge. If you look, all these other countries, their bases, the UK, Argentina, they're all on the edge of the continent, and the closest looks to be Russia with Vostok, and even that isn't really near the South Pole. So,
well, as far as we know,
it's
not near.
According to what we're told,
yeah,
we don't really know. But it just makes you wonder, maybe there's something with the energy there. Now, we've heard stories about, one military base had an emergency and flew over it to save some time to save the guy's life, and they saw something, but...
Well, why don't you tell that story instead of just glossing over it?
I will get to that, but I just wanted to finish this. But I wonder, maybe it's something with energy there, and maybe it gives off some kind of energy and they can harness it. Maybe the story that is being put out there is not true because they don't want people to know the truth about what's there, and that would make sense, because you don't want everyone else trying to go to get this form of energy if it gave something off, or something along those lines. So why don't you tell the story about what they saw?
So, and this was from that ET's Among Us documentary. This military installation, group they had a scientist that got injured, and he had to be flown from one section of Antarctica to another, and the quickest route to get to medical attention was going straight over the South Pole. And a commander or general, whoever it was that was in charge, said, "Why can't we fly over this? Let's just fly over it. Doesn't matter. This guy's going to die unless we get him help." Must have been somebody pretty important, I would assume. Otherwise, why are you willing to break this kind of a rule, right? Because from what I understand, military personnel take those no-fly zones pretty seriously. They're there for a reason. So, you're the military, you follow orders, right? Well, this was blatantly disregarded, and they flew over what the South Pole is, where it allegedly is, and they saw a hole essentially going into the ground. It's just a big hole. They illustrated again with, an illustration on the documentary, just kind of help you visualize it a little bit. But yeah, they said it was just a big hole that looked like it went just deep, straight down into the ground. You couldn't see anything, but it was just a hole. Just
big old hole.
And right in the middle of the ice, just big hole, and they thought that was strange. So, yeah, that's the story.
Yeah. So,
and they were told never to speak about it. That's the thing. But of course, people are people, and this guy allegedly who was on this flight, one of the personnel, came out as a whistleblower and talked about that. And we also had a couple other stories that were pretty interesting as well. But yeah, it was pretty weird that they saw this, if that story is true. So that lends credence to your theory that that's an entrance to something. Mm-hmm. Does it come out the other end of the Earth? Maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe you have the North Pole and the South Pole, and it maybe can connect, but maybe there's other tunnels that stem through it and go all throughout the Earth.
Sure. Why not? At this point, it's I'm not going to say anything's impossible, because so much stuff that we've been told is bullshit, and it's come out to be bullshit that I'm not... Hey, the crazier, the better, I guess.
We're living in the Matrix. Who knows? Anything is possible.
Yeah, who knows anymore? Jeez. Yeah, I don't know, but that was that story. So it definitely lends credence to your theory that, it could be just an entrance into the inner Earth, possibly. Now, one of the theories that came out of that documentary about what is going on in that hole is that our governments, I should say, plural, are commiserating, I guess would be the word, with whatever these other beings are, these extraterrestrials or aliens or other species that's been here forever and maybe wants to come back out and take over the Earth again. That's one of the theories. Again, we don't know.
It would make sense. They're all working together to learn how to make us slaves. They want to enslave the world population and the hierarchy of politicians and the powers that be, the queen and her family, Rothschild, you know what I mean? All those
top of the pyramid.
Top of the pyramid folks. They all, they're fine. They won't be enslaved. But it's just make them slaves, but let them think they're free.
So you think that's what's going on
It could be.
down there?
Anything's possible. If that was the case.
You think that they're a malevolent force of evil, these other beings?
I don't think they're a malevolent force of evil, but I could see it, like we talked about before about the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
And they brought slaves to mine gold. And after so long, the Anunnaki slaves were like, this is stupid, we don't want to do this, get other people to do this. And so they made humans to mine the gold and do all those things. So if we were, in fact, bred to be slaves in that sense, but what is it that they want? Is it just to keep us docile?
Well, they're doing a pretty good job of that. I think that's evident just by the way people act nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Or keep them so occupied with other things going on. Oh, set a fire over there, have everyone pay attention to that so they're not watching what we're doing over here.
Yeah, I mean, this
Keep
is
them from
plausible.
asking questions.
It's plausible theory than the ever.
Mm.
Yeah, it could be. Could very well be. I don't know. What else you got?
I have to look at my
And
notes.
you've
I
got,
think
yeah,
so.
you were prepared, my lady.
Oh,
Except for knowing the name of the documentary that we watched. I gotta give you a hard time.
I think we kind of glossed over everything I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So now it's your turn.
Well, I mean, for me, I just think, again, I pretty much said everything. I mean, I don't know what's going on down there, but I just know that it's not what we're told. And what we're told is there's nothing down there, it's ice. And we go down there just to research stuff. Okay, what are we researching? What are we trying to discover? What are we trying to work on? What benefit does us, and by us I mean the United States, all the other world governments, what benefit does that serve to us as people here, having these people down there? What are they doing? What are they working on? And how's that going to benefit us? Is it going to benefit us? Or is it something that's not going to benefit us? Or something that I told you about this the other day that I think that we very well could be, and this ties into what I said before about us not being on a globe. Could it be that we are trapped in this, whatever we're on, and Antarctica is almost like the Truman Show. It's the edge of whatever we're in, we're trapped in. And if you think about it, we're always told through Hollywood movies, we're given little hints about stuff. We've been researchers and people, whistleblowers, and they say that the people in control, because of karma, the law of karma, have to tell you what's going on. They're not going to come out explicitly and tell you, but they will show you, they will tell you in clandestine ways, and if it's your job to figure out what they're telling you. We've got movies like The Truman Show that show you this guy hits the edge of his reality. He hits the edge of what he's in, and he realizes it's a lie. This guy's been living in essentially a manufactured studio.
The Matrix.
You have the Matrix movies, right? And then you have one of the most popular shows in a long time, Game of Thrones. You have the Ice Wall. So my theory is that whatever we're in, whatever we're on, whatever we are, that's the edge. And we're all down there, possibly trying to figure out ways to get through it to see what's on the other side.
Mm.
I think, and this is just a theory, I don't know anything, just my thinking, that we maybe penetrated the wall, got through it, because you don't just have scientists down there, you've got military. They say no, but of course, who's protecting your scientists, especially when you have all these different countries down there? Who's protecting your scientists? You have the military, you have private security.
I just want to point out, and what do they use to protect them?
Guns?
Yep. Just for all, like, it just makes me
What
think
does that
of,
have to do with anything?
it just made me think of all the anti-gun people.
Okay, let's stop that.
Because I'm like, yeah, they use guns.
Okay.
But what's over there when guns protect them?
So I think, again, so let me finish before going, now you're talking about guns. Like, what does that have to do with anything? It's nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'm going to get there.
So I think we maybe finally penetrated through this barrier. So again, it's a crazy theory, but we got through it, and we've now discovered this whole other land that's out there. And when you had all these dignitaries go down there, and it wasn't just people from the United States, from all over the world. You had all kinds of secretaries of state, ambassadors, all the people that were sent down there to see what was discovered. I think maybe we got through that, and now there is a whole other area of undiscovered land full of resources that we can go down into and we can populate, and that's what I think. And I think that we're not being told that because it's not for us. Mm. We're going to stay here in the shit.
Well, one thing that...
This is undiscovered territory. This is virgin land. And it's for the people.
It's for us, for them to take.
Exactly. It's for the elites of the world, the people that are better than you and me. It's for them. It's not for us. That's what I think. It's crazy. I haven't heard this theory from anybody. This is something I just thought of the other night. I'm like, this has got to be what it is.
Now, let's play off of that for a moment.
Sure.
Because when you were talking, something popped in my head.
Okay. We got to get back to your guns thing.
No, because I was going to say, what's on the other side, and would guns actually protect them? That was kind of the point I wanted to get to. Or do you need something else, maybe some kind of psychic powers? Or, you know what, because it's like, if you don't know what you're dealing with, it's like bombs and guns may not necessarily protect one. But then I was thinking, over the past several years, the veil has started to become very thin. More and more people, the veil between other worlds. So if they broke this barrier to another world, if you will, maybe that's what's kind of causing more UFO sightings, more psychic abilities opening up inside of people. More and more people are recalling their past lives. More and more people are having experiences with spirits or other types of energies or entities. And it makes you wonder, if that theory was true, could that come into play with the veil thinning? Could that have something to do with it?
It could be, because if you figure if what I'm saying is true, or if I'm on the right track in any way, and we are in something and there is a barrier to keep us in, well, why did we just now break through it? Well, we now maybe all came together as a species, I guess, with all the smartest people in quotes of the world united down in one place to try to break through this barrier. And we did it. We figured out how to do it, whether it was drilling atomic weapons, if you believe in that, or whatever it is. We broke through that barrier. It could very well be that whatever's on the other side that we're not supposed to see or know about maybe is now coming in here, and what was in here is going there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or whatever was there is like, keep those motherfuckers away from us. We're building a big wall to protect us.
I don't know. But you look at things like, I personally have never read the Bible. I've never read it. But there are people that have read the Bible, and in the Bible it says that we are in a, what is it called? I can't believe I'm blanking on this right now, right as we're recording. The firmament. Jeez. We're in a firmament. It references the firmament over and over. Werner von Braun, Nazi scientist who came over to the United States through Operation Paperclip, on his tombstone, he references the firmament. So,
what is that supposed to be?
The firmament, we're in an enclosed
dome. I'm not familiar with that word.
It's an enclosed dome.
Dome.
And if you look at a lot of cathedrals and churches, what are they shaped as when you're on the inside of them? Right? So we see the symbolism everywhere. Is that symbolism because that's really what we're in? We're in an enclosed thing that we cannot get out of, and now maybe we've broken through and gotten to the other side? Or is that just what they believed, and we just kept putting these symbols everywhere because that's just what we believed as humans as we're evolving and going through time? I don't know. But I know that these are things that have been placed throughout scriptures and ancient texts. That stuff's out there. But again, what's the truth? We don't know. We only know what we've been raised to believe, what we've been told. But who really knows? I think people really know the truth, but they're just not sharing it with us.
Bastards.
Jerks. What are you
Not
hiding?
sharing.
What are you hiding, elites?
Come on.
I don't know.
We won't tell anyone. Just let us know.
Right.
DM us.
You're ridiculous.
I know.
So that's my theory. We broke through whatever barrier is keeping us here. We've been told all along that this is what's going on. We've been given hints here and there. It's been referenced throughout time through books. Movies is the new medium. Television. Think about it's right in the name. Tell-a-vision. You are telling people what to visualize.
I forgot to mention also when we talked about the Words Are Hard episode.
Yeah.
Programming.
Yeah. Exactly.
Television programming. You're being programmed.
Exactly.
I can't believe I forgot that one.
Yeah, but that's think about it's right. It's right in your face. It's right in your face. But nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, but most people choose not to see it. But it's right there for you. When are people going to start waking up? I don't know. They say there's a great awakening going on, but I don't think so. Not from what I've witnessed.
I feel like there are a lot more people than before waking up, but it's still such a small scale. Everyone evolves in their own time. So it's not
Agreed.
like all at once.
Agreed, but
I mean, think about just, take both of us, for example. Well, we've been more open to this kind of stuff. There might have been other things we weren't as open to, and then over time, it's like one day it's almost like oh yeah, why was I so anti this or something, or why was I so against it? Why wouldn't I open myself to the possibilities of it? And sometimes people just need a little more to push them there or to get them to that point. Everyone's on their own journey. So with that great awakening, it's coming, but it's kind of like little drips instead of a big pour.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't think it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, I agree with you, but I also think that a lot of the stuff that's out there for people that are supposedly waking up to the matrix or whatever, a lot of that is, I think most of it, if not all of it, is all misinformation and disinformation. I think all the truthers, the truth community, all that kind of stuff, I think that's all been co-opted. I think it's all been steered a certain direction.
See, I'm more on like a spiritual, energetic, energy type level instead of like what is the truth.
Yes.
It's like what do I feel?
Yeah, you definitely, with being how you are, you're definitely, I think, if you're going to go on like planes of existence, I think you're definitely higher than me as far as like the spiritual kind of stuff. I'm not there yet. I'm more still logical thinking, and I think some may say to a fault, because now I literally question and skeptical of everything.
That was part of my problem, because like my body, my energy, everything was saying like, no, that person's lying to you, but my logical brain would kick in like, but why would they lie to me? They have no reason to lie to me. Like, I wouldn't get upset about that.
That's not a logical brain. That's a naive brain.
But then it's like you start doing the math, but it's like, your body tells you, like your real mind, like those instant thoughts that before your brain starts overthinking things. And that's kind of what you need to go on, is don't overthink it. Just what was that first thing that came to mind, that first thought, that first feeling. Go with it.
Right.
Yeah. That's what you need to do, baby.
Well, my first thought is always bullshit. So maybe I'm there. I don't know.
What do you feel inside your tummy?
I feel like what I told you, I feel like that's probably what's going on.
And
some form of that. Again, I'm probably not accurate 100%.
But maybe it's
think
more, instead of a physical thing per se, maybe it's something like that, but just not as physical as you described it per se. It's like you never know what the truth is and what. So maybe it's a combination of things.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea, and no one does. Even the people that say they know, they probably don't really So, yeah, Antarctica.
I want to go.
Yeah, you just want to look at penguins.
Oh my god, I want to just hug them and love them and take pictures of them.
Okay. Now, what about you? I told you my theory of what's really going on down there, what's being hidden, and why. That's my theory. What are you thinking? Are you thinking
I feel like there's
aliens? Are
something
you
important there. I don't know
Yeah.
necessarily. I think there's something really important there. I think it's something
So you
that
think it's like a thing? Like an artifact of some kind?
I feel like there's a portal there.
Alright.
But I feel like there's some kind of energy there, but like some kind of portal, and maybe it gives off energy, but there's something there. Maybe it's that wall. It's not necessarily like a physical wall. Maybe it's more of like an energy wall. You know, you
Sure.
can't drill through it. It may, but I feel like there's something there, and that's what all the hubbub is about. And I feel like there's something at the poles. Why won't Google Earth? Why won't the map let me see past a certain point? There's something there.
Okay. Fire up. Come on. Alright.
I'm going to take a picture of that and put it on our social media, like,
What?
bastards. The map won't let you go so far.
Go for it. Yeah, I think that you may be onto something possibly with the energy, because if you think about it, energy is all around us, right? We're
Everything
constantly,
is energy, and it's just like
Everything.
different frequencies and vibrations.
right? I mean, we are bombarded with alien to humans energy all the time, and what I mean by that is radio frequencies, microwaves,
Mhm.
all those kind of things. Cellular technology runs on that kind of stuff. So we're getting hit with it all the time as humans.
And not just that, but
So-
we ourselves are energy.
Yeah, but
Even think on like an atomic level, like little atoms, it's all energy. So
we're constantly being bombarded with all this energy. So energy is everywhere. So it could very well be that there is some form of energy that they found down there, or that they're discovering. Maybe they figured out a way to harness it.
Uh-oh.
Who knows? Anything is possible. I don't rule anything out anymore. I just rule out the official story and narrative, because that's never true.
One day they're gonna. It's like the boy who cried wolf. They're gonna start telling the truth, and we're like, bullshit. It's not true.
The alien invasion will actually be true, and I'll just still be like, okay. Yes. So yeah, Antarctica. So that's your theory.
That's what I think.
A portal of some sort.
Something and some kind of energy field or something there.
Now, just real quick before we wrap up, with poles, right? That would mean that they would have a North Pole and a South Pole. There would have to be a globe, right? Is that what that would mean? Or
Possibly.
because if you like me do not believe we're on a globe, then how would you figure out poles?
So if, like, for people who believe in flat Earth,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say where that is, it's just a hole that maybe goes somewhere else. Not saying the two connect, or maybe it goes from the one, like the North Pole, and kind of loops around, like, to the south, so it kind of curves underneath.
Okay.
So you have, like, flat Earth, and you have, like, the North Pole, and then it, like, curves, like, to the South
Yeah, you
Pole.
can talk in your mic there. So
Sorry, I'm trying for the people watching the video, trying to have, like, a demonstration with my arm. I'm trying! I don't have any props!
All right, fair enough.
Oh, so you have, like, flat Earth, and you have, like, North Pole and South Pole. See?
Okay. I was just asking you if you think if we're not on a globe. how
I'm just
poles
trying to
work.
figure it out. I don't know.
I know that there's people that have actually gone through and answered all these questions. I just if you.
Do you remember as a kid we used to think there was actual, like, a real pole at the pole, and that was why it was called that?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'm not the only one.
Because I mean you saw commercials, cartoons of Santa at the North Pole.
It had a
So, yeah,
pole.
it had a pole.
Yeah, that's why they
course.
called it the
That's
pole.
That's why it was the North Pole.
Yeah. Memories.
Yeah. Mhm.
Programming.
Yeah. It's incredible. Just trying to unlearn all this stuff is quite a feat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got any other final closing thoughts before we get out of here?
I agree with you. I don't believe it's what they say it is, but I want to go. I want to go and see what's there. I want to be able to see for myself.
All right.
If anyone has any pull that can make that happen, you let me know.
We'll get right on that.
Right?
This chick, podcast.
Yeah.
She wants to go to Antarctica.
She's really cute. We should let her
Can we
go.
make that happen?
Yeah.
For her, so she can hang out with penguins.